So, obviously, one of the things that we always associate with the traditional romantic view of marriage is that two become one. But you seem to be defining marriage a little bit different in this book.
Yes.
How?
Well, two do not necessarily become one. I mean, they become one in a very specific way, and it's paradoxical in a way, right? Because an intimate partnership is incredibly intimate, right? It's one of the most intimate things people can do between two people, but it's also incredibly performative. So you do it for the benefit of other people also, right? Other people watch a marriage. It's this one unity made of two highly individual people.
It's so many times, even when you finish a book, don't you feel like you have more questions than when you
Oh my
started?
God, yes. You always go into a book thinking you're going to dig into this mysterious, ambiguous space within you, right? And the mysterious, ambiguous space within me for this book was this truly strange scenario I found myself in, which is I do not believe in the institution of marriage. I don't believe in it. I think it's retrogressive. I think that it's incredibly misogynistic. I think just the history of it is kind of ugly. And yet at the same time, I have this beautiful thing in my own life, and it was the best thing that I ever did, and it was the best decision I ever made. So trying to make heads or tails of how this could possibly happen in one person, it was really difficult. So I spent a lot of time trying to think it through, and I came up with zero answers, but a million complications, right? And that's what happens when you write novels. I think it's the opposite of when you try to write nonfiction. You try to answer the questions, but in fiction, questions just beget more questions in the night. When you're in a creative partnership, you can just fall in love with that brain. And in fact, I read so much and you read so much. And in a way, you can think of a book as someone else's brain in your hands that slowly, through the process of reading, infects your own brain, right? And if it's a book that you deeply, deeply love, you're kind of falling in love with someone else's brain at that moment. If you see a play and it blows you away, you fall in love with someone else in a certain way, right? The product of that person, and that's an essential element of who that person is. I think it's really beautiful, right? It's a way of falling in love all the time without necessarily being unfaithful to your partner.